Today we're going to talk about how to avoid getting sued on your real estate deals when you are investing, whether you are fixing, whether you're flipping, whether you're renting out your properties. If you are going to take real estate seriously and do volume, meaning like maybe one deal a month type thing, it's not a question of if a lawsuit's going to come your way, but when. And we want to prepare you today a little bit on how to avoid that, and secondly, how to kind of deal with it. Or we can't give you an exact situation. We're not lawyers, but we can tell you some things we've been learning from our own experiences and having people try to sue us on a couple things. So, my name's Dustin.
I'm Josh.
I'm Corey.
We're the Wholesale Daily Show, coming at you 5 days a week. Topics on wholesaling, fixing and flipping, tax liens and deeds, and virtual real estate investing. If you're new to the channel, if you want, hit that subscribe button and the like button. We would greatly appreciate that. And let's crack into this. So, as you're doing your real estate, if you're just doing deals here and there, odds of getting sued are probably pretty low. But think about it as an exposure thing. The more deals you're going to do, the more exposure, the more weird things can happen. And once again, I'm not a lawyer, but what can happen? I'm just trying to think. How do I say this? I'm not sounding like a lawyer,
right?
But so let's kind of break this down into a couple chunks for you. And the reason I'm going to break it down is pretty simple. So first off, there's a lot of entities to protect you if you do get sued and to discourage people from kind of going after all of your assets. And one of the first things you can do is set up a limited liability company, an LLC. Now, there's lots of different types. There's LPs. There's different types of funds you can set up. But you'll need to obviously contact your legal advisor for what would be best for your situation. But we've chosen and use LLCs. They're very simple to set up, and you can set them up in a matter of 15, 20 minutes online. What was it? LegalZoom?
LegalZoom.
Yeah.
LegalZoom. How much is it? $400?
Oh, it's cheap. Maybe like $159 or something.
Yeah, so $159 for a basic LLC setup. And basically, imagine it this way. If you own your house or you have any types of assets in your personal name, and then you buy a house, say it's an investment property, and somebody slips and they break a leg and then they can't go to work for a year, and the lawyer's going to look at that and look into how many assets you own and think, oh, this guy has some money, so we're going to go and sue him for lost wages, emotional damage, anything they can drum up. And what an LLC allows you to do is protect yourself by limiting the liability. So you would hold that house in the LLC, and then that way when the guy slips and breaks his leg, the only thing they could really go after is that house. And if you're smart about it and say you refinance it and maybe there's not a lot of equity in the property, then there's not much to go after, and you're protected. Your personal assets are protected from the rest of your net worth. I heard a story back in the day, I don't even know if it's true, but it makes sense, that some cab companies would only ever put 2 taxis in one LLC. Therefore, if one of the drivers got in an accident, there would only be, they couldn't sue and go after the whole company. It was just limited to 2 taxis. So I don't know if that's true. It makes sense.
That's smart.
Yeah,
smart.
Makes sense, but just to kind of convey the point there. And first off, if you're wholesaling, chances of lawsuits are going to be smaller. Sometimes you might have, if you make a huge profit on a property, you might have a livid person get upset at how much money you've made. But it's all in the paperwork that they should be aware of. We've had that happen once, didn't we? We had one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, basically, what did we make on that? Like $20K?
I think it was at least $20K.
Yeah, I think we made like
more.
$20K, and then afterwards the person was a little upset, and they had the paperwork in front of them, and then it just kind of blew over. But more so, it'll happen if you're going to fix and flip, because say you buy a property, you fix it, and then you sell it, and then they come after you later for maybe a faulty furnace or faulty anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, or like mold would be a big one.
Mold. What we actually had a recent incident where we bought a property at the foreclosure sale, and then the owners came and tried to sue us. Josh, can you just explain what happened there and what we learned?
Yeah, so we buy our properties out of state, and so it's not like we go into them. It's not like we're aware of things. We have other people that do this for us. We sold a house as is. We bought it from the sheriff's sale in Cincinnati there. We didn't put any money into it, didn't do anything, quickly listed it, and we got a couple different people that were interested, decided to go with the highest offer, and we sold it to these guys. They come back maybe 3-4 months later. They've already met with an attorney. They've got all this legal doc written up, and they're coming after us. And what ended up happening is there was black mold, or there was some kind of mold. I don't remember what type of mold, but it was serious enough that they wanted to come after us. And I think they were going to be needing to spend like $12,000 to fix it up. So they wanted us to pay for that. It might have been a little bit more. And what ended up happening is that the county had issued some kind of paperwork or notice about the mold in the property maybe a year ago. So at the time, we were not the owners, and so they were coming after us saying that we should have known about this, but we never got served. We only had the property for maybe a couple weeks or less than 2 months, at least less than 2 months. We hardly had it at all, and so we were able to show that we've never been in this property. We can prove it. We're just foreign investors. When the notification went out from the county, we didn't get it. I mean, it wasn't sent to us. So there was absolutely no way of us knowing. And that's one of the big things when it comes to getting sued. It's like, do you know or did you not know? And then if you didn't know, what kind of evidence is there to support it? And so there's so much evidence, an overwhelming amount of evidence to show that there's no reason why we could have known about this. There's nothing to indicate that we could have known. So what ended up happening is after this, we modified our real estate contracts. And so there's like some kind of addendum, disclosure. That's right, disclosure. And so on the disclosure documents, we just have this massive like watermark that goes on every single sheet. And it just says that we're a foreign investor, that we have not been inside the property. And so we're just trying to remove as much liability as possible. And when it comes to fixing and flipping, though, that's where you're going to be held for the most liability. And so I think the best way to combat that is to simply have an inspector check everything when it's going to be sold, even if it's a cash buyer. I mean, this would be the way to protect yourself the most, because if a cash buyer buys it and he does an inspection, he doesn't get an inspector to do it. He does it himself. Let's say he misses something and there's a massive issue. He may try to come back after us later. And so if we didn't know about it, there's going to be some protection there. But if you just get if you get an inspector to go through and identify everything, then you can get that handled. It's a little bit of a tricky game, because at the same time, if you don't uncover it and don't know about it, you can then show that, I shouldn't be held liable. I had no idea. But then it's kind of this balancing act where they might try to prove that you should have known about it or you could have known about it and that it was your responsibility. So just avoiding the whole thing would be getting an inspector to come in, identifying everything. Because that's what's going to happen if a cash buyer does his own inspection and he misses something that's going to cost him money. He'll probably try to come after you for it, which is what ended up happening in this case. Right. So we were able to show, hey man, you did your own inspection, you missed it, we were never in the property, so this is all on you. We didn't get the notice. Yeah, so that's how we fought that one. Just got an attorney. He took about an hour or two to get everything done, and that was it. Sent the letter off.
How much did he charge for that?
I think it was $250 an hour, and it looks like the average rate is somewhere between $250 to $500. So it's definitely costly, and I mean, it'd be great. I mean, we have another guy who's in a title company who also practices real estate law. He's not like super serious though, but we consult him for a lot of things, and he just kind of gives us free advice here and there. And then when it comes to pull out the big guns, we use this other guy. So having some real estate lawyer friends would be a great idea.
Nice. And then we'll keep you updated, because we also bought another property at the foreclosure auction, and it was like $300,000. Was it?
$325. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it for $325, and then the county waited how many months for us to pay it off?
Oh, it was like 4 or 5 months. We were trying to pay it off.
Yeah, so we bought the property. We wanted to pay it off quickly, but the county waited 4 or 5 months, and in that time, the market shifted, and we decided that we don't want this property. So we thought in this case we would just forfeit our deposit of, was it 10K?
Yeah, 10.
Our $10,000 deposit and just walk away because we would be better off. But now it's the bank suing us?
Yeah, there's a motion to punish us.
Yeah. So the bank has filed a motion where they now want to resell it and then want us to be responsible for any difference in price from the mortgage and all this sort of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting thing. We'll keep you posted on it. But no matter what, if you're going to do this stuff at scale, there's going to be gremlins that are going to pop out and come get you. So watching these videos helps you keep your sword sharp so that when they pop up, you can try to cut the head off it before it really bites you.
Yeah.
But just be prepared and keep tuning in. So once again, thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, leave a comment, ask us any type of questions you have. We would love to hear from you, and we will see you tomorrow.